It is March 26th, 2026, inside a courtroom in Taipei. The man standing before the judge was once a surgeon, then a two-term mayor, and 2 years earlier, a candidate for president backed by millions of young voters. The court sentences him to 17 years in prison. His name is wen-je, and he is the first major opposition leader in this democracy's history to be sentenced to prison. Now here is the strange part. Just weeks before that verdict, Transparency International ranked Taiwan the 25th cleanest government on Earth, its best ranking in 25 years, cleaner on paper than the United States. So which one is true, the scorecard or the courtroom? The answer is both. And how both can be true at once reveals what is really eating at one of Asia's strongest democracies. To understand how corruption works on this island, follow one piece of land in eastern Taipei. For 20 years, it held Core Pacific City, a shopping mall built around a giant golden globe. The mall lost money, closed its doors, and was torn down. What its owner wanted next was permission to build something far bigger in its place. And in Taiwan, one number decides how much you can build on a piece of land. It is called the floor area ratio. While Ko was mayor, City Hall raised that number for this site from 560 to 840%. One decision, and the same plot of land could legally hold half again as much floor space. Prosecutors followed the money. More than 52 million Taiwan dollars, about 1.6 million US dollars, flowed to a city councillor. 2.1 million Taiwan dollars, about 66,000 US dollars, reached the mayor through middlemen. The verdict came down in March. The developer received 10 years, the councillor 15.5, and the mayor 17. 13 of them for bribery. This is one of the oldest profit engines in the island's politics. A stroke of an official's pen multiplies the value of land, and everyone near the pen gets rich. Case closed, not for half the island. 3 days after the verdict, thousands filled the streets of Taipei in protest. Ko founded the Taiwan People's Party, the TPP, the third force that upended the last presidential race. His supporters call the trial political persecution by the ruling party, and they point at the calendar. The next presidential election arrives in 2028, and the law bans anyone sentenced to more than 10 years from that race, even while an appeal is pending. Ko was the man who split the opposition vote last time. So in their eyes, the verdict did not just punish a politician. It erased the ruling party's most unpredictable rival from the ballot. But look closer at that same verdict, and the persecution story gets complicated. Prosecutors demanded 28.5 years. The judges gave 17. Prosecutors claimed Ko personally pocketed another 15 million Taiwan dollars in cash. The judges threw that charge out, unproven. A court staging a political show does not usually reject the prosecution's biggest claim, unless his supporters answer, the show is simply more subtle than that. That is the argument tearing the island in two. Here is the fact that breaks the simple story. 3 weeks after Ko's verdict, another politician stood in the same courthouse. Chen Upo, a former lawmaker, convicted of taking monthly payments from a logistics company and writing its wishes into law. His sentence was 16 years, almost identical to Ko's. But Chen Upo is not opposition. He belongs to the ruling Democratic Progressive Party, the DPP. And he is not alone. Cheng Wen-san, once a vice premier and a rising star tipped for a future presidential run, is on trial right now for an alleged bribe over a land deal. Prosecutors want 12 years. A sitting ruling party lawmaker stands indicted for embezzling public funds. And the deepest scar of all is nearly 2 decades old. Chen Shui-bian, a president from the ruling party itself, went to prison for corruption after leaving office. If this is a weapon, it is firing at both sides at once. The uncomfortable truth is simpler. On this island, the money has never cared about party colors. To see where the money comes from, go back to the 1990s. As the island democratized, local construction bosses, factional patrons, and organized crime money fused into something Taiwanese voters named black gold. Democracy grew up on top of it, not instead of it, and it never fully left. In the 2022 local elections, prosecutors received more than 5,000 reports of vote buying, and they moved to strip nearly 200 winners of their seats. The favorite tools have not changed in 30 years. Rezone farmland into factory land, raise a floor area ratio, steer a port contract. Each pen stroke mince millionaires. So how does an island like this rank 25th cleanest in the world? Because that ranking measures perception, how clean experts and executives believe the government is. And here is the twist. When prosecutors march famous politicians into court, outsiders see a system that works. So the score can climb even while the scandals pile up. The number is not lying. It is just answering a different question than the one the voters are asking. Both things are real. They are just not the same thing. So why did an opposition founder get 17 years in one of Asia's cleanest scoring democracies? Because both halves of the paradox are true. The corruption is real. Courts proved it in both parties, from a mall in Taipei to a port in Keelung. And the cleanup is real too. Presidents, party founders, and ruling party stars have all faced the same judges. But something else is quietly breaking. When Ko's supporters see 17 years, they do not see justice. They see a rival erased. When the ruling party's supporters see the protests, they do not see doubt. They see criminals defending criminals. And notice what has happened. In the public square, whether the judges were actually fair has stopped mattering because every verdict now arrives pre-sorted by party color. That is the real wound. An island can survive corrupt politicians. Democracies prosecute them and move on. What no democracy can afford for long is this: the day its people stop believing that a courtroom can be neutral.